Hi, Marianne.
Hi,
How are you?
good.
Good. Did I send you? Did I send
Yes.
you? Okay, good.
The library building program?
Yeah,
The schedule work?
it's what
Okay.
it's what I
All
worked
right.
on today. So, and
Okay.
then I'll take it away so they can't give me any feedback.
Okay.
I think I could have probably blocked them from editing, but I forgot to do that in my
Yeah,
haste to get it out.
that's okay. All right.
Meryl gave me feedback today, so I got some feedback from somebody.
Okay.
I
Good.
was fried. I didn't have like the history of the town because I didn't have one of those Celebrate Shutesbury books, so I borrowed it from Cliff.
Okay. Oh, good. Oh, good. Um,
Last time we didn't have to do that. We just talked about the library's history.
right. Can you, well, so you sent it to me. I'm gonna send it to Molly Moss and have her look at all of your population stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
I got it from the Donahue Institute.
right, right. So the problem with the Donahue, well, so the Donahue Institute is the only, that's it. That's the resource out there.
Right.
But the problem with them is they have our population projection, and I don't see if you have it. Oh, you do, 2040, 1335.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but their um, but their population for Shutesbury right now, it says it's 1600. If you go on there,
I don't remember. So what is it? I looked at
yeah.
so many numbers today.
So now the US Census number was 1717.
Oh,
So
they supposedly have it updated with the 2020 census. They have it right on their page.
right, but they haven't updated their projections.
Oh.
Um, and but anyway,
Wow.
I'll just have Molly Moss look at this.
Well,
I mean,
where else am I gonna, I mean,
yeah,
I could ask Jeff. I didn't want to since he made a comment about that. I watched the video last night.
yeah, don't ask Jeff.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
So
I think
instead I did the Donahue
I
Institute.
think what we have to do is we have to say the Donahue Institute says this.
I think
Reality.
I said that in the text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, I haven't had time to read any of this. So
I was trying to look too to see because there was something in the recorder a while ago which I found online, but I didn't want to just report the recorder, but I'll look again tomorrow. About they said that the aging population was going to increase, which you can see, but if we all stay in town, where
right.
the numbers are now, and that was Franklin County though, and that the younger population they're going to be leaving. And I remember hearing that, but I couldn't find a good source to validate that. So
Right. Right.
does
Yeah.
MPLC have any suggestions? Do you think about where to find projections?
Well, actually, when I met with them a few weeks ago, they said that they were going to do the population projections for both Otis and Shutesbury, and
Okay.
then they couldn't find anything other than this. I'm gonna look for because I don't think I have it on this thing. I'm gonna look for that. Think I sent you
Which thing?
what was it? The part that I worked on. Oh, partnerships.
Yes, that looked great. I thought I read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad I'm not working. I've been doing a lot of library work. You know, it's good though.
Right.
Good to have a focus besides gardening. Gardening is getting a little boring. I thought that looked real. I thought that looked excellent. I had only one question, Marianne, in the whole thing.
Okay, good.
It was so minor.
Right. Let me download it. Yeah, and I think, you know, like they ask these questions, you know, what partnership opportunities exist? And then, you know, like, well, I'm not going to predict the future, but I'll tell you about what we're doing now, you know.
I think that's what they want. They want to know what you're doing now because you never know because all kinds of things could change. You know?
Okay.
They could start at the Franklin, what do they call it? Franklin Transit Authority thing could end up coming up here. Who knows?
Right.
You know? There was
right.
I vaguely remember seeing them here years ago at a very limited schedule, but I haven't seen them for years. I don't think they come anymore.
Yeah.
You want to know my little tiny picky thing? It was so minor. It was the very last thing about the Shutesbury Athletic Club. So
Yeah.
a few library dinners each year. Are those considered fundraisers? I know that like the one that we just sort of, people put money in, but it's not really a fundraiser. Like
Right.
I wasn't sure, though, like when the library week, when we made lasagna
Right.
and stuff.
Right.
That's
Right.
more just to the sense
Yeah.
of community. So I wasn't sure if that needed to say fundraiser or not, because I wasn't sure. That was
I
it.
don't think it has to say fundraiser.
Okay, fine. It looked
Yeah.
great though. I mean,
Yeah.
it shows all the stuff you're doing.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing though, in bigger communities, I think, even though you don't have a lot of things to integrate with, you do it well. I think bigger communities, it can be kind of hard because there's almost too much.
Right.
Like in Amherst,
Right.
there's too much.
Right. Right.
I once went to it was about a specific kid, but there were agencies I didn't know were like involved with kids and
Right.
families at Amherst. It was
Right.
kind of overwhelming.
Right. Right.
I see Susie's here.
Yep. I saw her. Well, I let her in.
Yeah.
So there she is.
Hi, Susie.
Okay.
How are you? We're going to put you right after the minutes, if that's okay. And is anybody else coming with you, or?
Kat Hilton will be here. I don't think Rita will.
Okay. Ready?
Mary Ann, did you have a day off?
I had like we could call it a day and a half. So
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. I had the past 2 weekends. So I call Sunday and Mondays my weekends. And the past 2 weekends I worked almost a full day both days. And so I said, all right, I have to go away so I don't work. So I went away and I didn't bring my computer.
There you go. That's the thing to do. I saw you answered email though. Sorry, I didn't really want to bother you. I knew you.
Yes. Yeah. So I just answered sort of important emails. I just wanted to say, look, folks, I'm not going to have time to send you the link. Find it yourselves.
It was a good exercise. Actually, Meryl showed me how to find it.
Yes.
I hadn't done that before. So
right.
by the time I came back from Meryl's house, I have Kate had sent out the email about, and so had you how to find it. I'm like, okay, now I know how to do this.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, this is just a personal thing. My niece finally found a place to live maybe
good.
a few weeks ago. Since she's working at the library, she was finally able to connect and get housing for staff and faculty at UVM. But it was pretty darn discouraging. She had a few interviews with households and stuff, but then other people's things fell apart, and she has this wild and crazy cat, so it was actually better she got her own apartment.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's really happy. It's a 10-minute walk to the library, and I guess sometimes she works at another library, and it's only across the street. But she's an astronomy major, but she got the job because she was a work study student at the BU library.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
She graduated a year ago and she looked for a job for a year. And so the other good thing about being a UVM staff is like she can work on her master's while she's there. And so she wants to do computer science.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And your son liked the program, right?
Yeah. I mean, he has a bachelor's degree, but he did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. And he's doing really well. So, yeah. So
she's so excited to be out of Kentucky and out of my sister's really rural, tiny little place they moved to from Kentucky, Mills, a town of 300.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
That's just a large family.
Which has a larger library than ours. I didn't get to see the inside, but just saw the outside. And I said, I think that it looks like it used to be a school. I bet that they turned it from a school into a library.
Yeah.
And they have an upstairs where they used to hold yoga classes. I think there's just not enough interest with 300 people. Anyway, it's always interesting to go see other libraries.
Mhm.
How are we doing on time here? Well, almost time.
And Michelle, you said Kate sent the link out to everybody?
She showed us how to connect.
Okay.
Yes.
Alrighty,
yes.
okay. And I know Brad's not coming.
Yeah, he
Um,
said if we run
okay.
over,
Yeah,
he'll show up. Yeah, I just feel like there's so much to do that I have a feeling we may go over. We may have to just expand our time to an hour and a half like it used to be instead of an hour. Hi, Kat.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How about yourself?
Good, good. Are you here as a friend as well? A friend of the library?
Well, no, I'm not a member. I'm here because I've been working with a sort of ad hoc committee to do messaging.
Okay.
We
Okay,
want to talk with you about that.
I wasn't sure, so thank you.
Mhm.
Filling me in. Yeah, it's going to be important for sure.
I should think.
Hi, Tim and Savannah.
Hello.
Are we going to see you tonight? Are you still getting ready?
Getting ready.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
so all of Melanie is joining, all of the trustees that we were expecting are here.
Mhm.
And we have Catherine Hiltron and Susie Mosier as gifts, and then Mary Lou Conca as guests, and then Mary Lou Conca is here also.
Great. Thank you all so much for getting here and starting so promptly. Michelle, did you want me to run this one since you did the last
Yeah,
time?
thank you. That'd be great.
Yes, and we have a minute taker for tonight, have
Yes.
we?
Yep, Melanie,
Okay.
our secretary.
Melanie, you're my hero. All right, y'all, it has been a day of meetings. So I know that we have our agenda. Let me just pull it up real quick. So we have some regular business to take on, and then we have some guest feedback that we want to hear, and then discussion of the grant process, including further mediated sessions. And so we have kind of a busy meeting for tonight. So we'll go ahead and dive in and do our best to be timely. But trustees at 8:30, we'll do a check-in and see whether we want to grant ourselves a little bit more time. That's my proposal. Okay. All right, full speed ahead. Off we go. We are in session. So our first object
Mary
is.
Ann should use the recording statement.
Oh,
She
thank
usually tells
you.
us.
Yes, I always forget that. Go ahead, Marianne.
So we are meeting on Zoom, also known as virtually because of the pandemic, and it's not quite safe to have in-person meetings. And a recording will be available until the minutes are posted.
Thank you, Marianne. Okay. Briefly then, we got our minutes from Melanie. Thank you, Melanie, for sending those out. So we're going to just review and if possible approve the minutes. So open for that.
I thought they were well taken, Melanie. Lots of detail. I don't have any comments. Looks good to me.
That's what I thought too. Any other trustee feedback on the minutes? Or from Marianne? All right. I am hearing none. would be grateful for a motion, please.
I move that we approve the minutes from August 23rd.
I'll second that.
All right, are we ready for a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are passed. Thank you. Marianne, you've had an awful lot going on. So just noting that this is where we often have a director's report, but I think the director's report has been subsumed in the grant preparation process, which is appropriate. And we're going to get an update on that in a bit. But just wanted to do a couple of things. And one, Mary Lou, you are here as an observer, but just wanted to see whether there's anything that you wanted to add to the agenda. Just giving Mary Lou a second to figure out how to get off mute and answer that if she wants to. Okay, well, welcome all of our guests. And Susie, Catherine, I'm not sure who wants to lead off, but Susie, maybe you get us started?
I think Catherine wants to speak.
Okay, great. Thank you. Go ahead, Catherine.
Okay, well, I believe you have seen that a little sort of informal committee of us consisting of myself and Susie and Rita Farrell put together a little information sheet trying to describe what the state's offer is and how it would interact with town finances. And we hope that you like it and can use it. And we're wondering about how messaging will go.
I'm sorry, Susie, could you just start that sentence over again? I'm taking the minutes and I missed a good piece of that in terms of who was on this ad hoc committee with you.
Oh, okay, it's I who is speaking, Catherine, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. The committee was, or the little working group was me, Catherine Hilton, Susie Mosher, and Rita Farrell. Okay. And I believe that the schematic that we developed has been distributed to you guys. And
I didn't know.
I never saw it.
oh no.
No,
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know what you were here about tonight, so.
Oh,
Kate, you're muted.
Now, this is totally on me. I acknowledge it has been an extraordinarily busy time for me with the various reconciliation issues that are going through Congress right now, and I should have shared this and did not. I am going to ask if I can share my screen so that people can see. Marianne, can you give me
Yeah,
permission?
I'll make you the co-host and then
Thank
you'll be able
you.
to share
And I
your screen.
apologize, Susie. The one thing I will say for myself is that this schematic is clear and simple and easy to understand and everything kind of at a glance. And so that might cover my butt for not doing my job and sharing it in advance. I apologize, y'all.
right. If we did a good job, everybody will get it instantly and it won't matter that they didn't see in advance.
What was your motivation for making the statement? What made you guys create a group and come forward with this?
I was at the SAC meeting. It occurred to me that people were going to start asking financial questions, and that's a lot of information to handle. And so I asked Marianne about it, and she said she is so tied up doing the building program. She would suggest we put together a messaging group to work on that. So we did. She suggested Rita and Catherine and I, and we all drafted it. And that's how it got to be done.
Thank you.
I like it already. It's very clear, the top part that I can see anyway.
So there's two parts of this, and this is the first part. It's sort of, the first part is what the whole thing costs and who's responsible for which bits. And then the bottom part is how we get to our part, our 32% estimate of the total project cost. So I just want to, again, I really apologize, Susie and Catherine, but can we just look at the total project cost piece and see if anyone has questions or comments about how that's portrayed?
Can I ask a question about what to call this in the meeting minutes?
I would say it's a suggested infographic on the costs and how, sort of the costs. What would you say, Susie or Catherine? Suggested infographic on paying for a new library?
Yeah, the breakdown of the total project cost, how it breaks down for the town and for the state.
So I'm just giving people a couple of minutes to take a look and make sure that everyone understands what we're seeing here.
Can I just ask how you edited, came to the plus or minus 88% and the 12%?
Susie, you can answer that, I think.
Okay, so one of the things we were hearing is that the MBLC was saying things, the state will pay 75% of the eligible costs and the town 25%. And we were thinking it was really important to identify what they meant by that. So they are talking about 75% of the construction costs, and the town will pick up 25% of construction costs, but the town picks up 100% of the ineligible costs, and there the category is paving, landscaping, blah, blah, blah. And so if you do the math, the state ends up paying 88% of the total, and the town ends up picking up around 12% of the total. When you put the two lumps together.
No,
No.
town pays 32 and the state pays 68, but state pays 88% of eligible.
Right, sorry, right.
Or no, the eligible costs are 88% of the total. Ineligible
total.
costs are estimated to be 12. Of the
Right.
total, we estimate that the state will pay 68% and the town 32%.
Right.
So I think the question is, where did that 12% come from? And I believe it came from our contacts at the MBLC, who said that 12% was a safe number. We've seen a big range of estimates for that, and these are all estimates, of course, that went between like 5 and 15. And so we were starting to use 10, and then they suggested that 12 would be a safer number. So we took the number that they suggested.
Okay.
Am I right about that, Susie?
Yeah, that's where that part came from. Yep.
So we should understand this isn't the very top of the range, but it's certainly not the bottom. It's closer to the top. And it is, so we can feel confident that this is a conservative figure.
Yeah.
From the town's perspective on what's required, right?
Right.
Of what the town would do. I mean, towns.
Of the ineligible
money.
costs.
Yeah, towns can save money on ineligible costs by doing different things, but 12% is a good estimate.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions about the top part of this graphic?
How'd you come up with the 68%?
So try again, says 68% is the state's 75% of not, but not, it's not the whole, well, how does this go?
So 75% of 88%.
Right.
Right. It's math.
Right.
Yeah, it's the 75% of 88%
Yeah.
that gets you the 68% of the project total.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you get the town share by just subtracting from that.
Yeah.
Okay. Great questions. Any other questions about this part of the infographic?
Yeah, I do. Is this infographic in a form that you're suggesting might be distributed, or is it in a form you're using just to talk with the Board of Trustees?
Well,
No, we were thinking that it would be for, public information.
Okay, thank you.
any other questions? All right, and then let's look at the how we pay our share half. Okay. So above the first bullet point is everything that we have in hand now. And again, we're working on how we meet the 32% of the total project cost that we estimate is the town's responsibility. And starting out with what we already have. And note that this time this includes an estimated value of the land. Mary Ann, go ahead.
Well, I don't think we can, I don't think we don't have a number for the land.
Yeah,
So I'm uncomfortable putting any number there. We don't have any kind of research or informed number.
Is that something we can get, Marianne?
Well, we should probably decide on a site first.
Oh, well, then,
Ah.
no, that's a good thought.
Just to get me in the ballpark, is this a single page? And is that the entire document?
Yes.
yeah, the whole document is one page.
Okay, and how would you be talking about distributing this or putting it out to people?
How about we do this? How about we talk about the content first, and then we talk about distribution and outreach second? Is that okay?
Well, they might go hand in hand, because if it's distributed in a environment where there's explanation going with it, that's one thing. But if it's popped in the mail with no additional explanation, that's another thing.
Yeah, it's a
So-
really good point. Yeah, it's a really good point.
Part of,
Go ahead, Susie.
part of coming here tonight is talking about process for information distribution and making information available, and trying to get ahead of people's concerns and worries, and a place they can find the information when they're in a discussion with somebody. So one vision is to have it on the small library tab on the library website, so that people can start referencing information.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I think that we could put TBD where we have the 70K. I think that would be more accurate for what we know now.
Mhm,
That seems good.
mhm.
And then that would drop obviously it down to 520, 326 for total in hand.
Mhm.
And I think it would be legitimate to put a plus after that, because it's at least that, given that we don't know the value of the land, but we know it's not zero.
Mhm.
Correct.
Does that seem right?
Yep.
Any other?
And
Any oth-
Susie, so you've got that 223,838, and then the 25,000 that the Friends voted that could be spent on site selection testing. So is that subtracted from the total in the accounts? Like if we add
So
those two
the
numbers
220
together?
Yeah, mhm. The 223 doesn't reflect, could be added to the 25, and that's
Okay.
what we have in our bank.
Okay,
And the 25,000 is an allowable expense against the 32%.
Right. Do we want to put up to 25? Or is that just unnecessarily complicating things?
it's unnecessarily complicated
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Who do you expect? This may sound like a weird question. I don't mean it to be. Who do you feel your audience is, and how is this going to help them? And the reason I couch my question that way is there's probably a group of, I don't know, a couple hundred people that come to town meetings, et cetera, that may be aware of the finance committee of various town issues where this would make sense. There's probably another 1,000 people in town that their main concern is if we build a new library, how much is it going to cost me each year? That group, and I'm just speculating, I don't know, that group may find this confusing. They may do something like say, well, if the thing costs $3.5 million, that means we are going to have to pay for 1.2 million. There's an extra 600,000 that's not talked about. Where's that going to come from? I'm wondering if for the group of people in town who do not routinely look in on government, town government issues and expenditures, et cetera, if this is going to be a help as it stands, or if it needs some further elaboration to make it something that they can understand in how it affects them as individuals.
I think one of the things that we, that the information group is concerned about is all the information is not available right now. But that doesn't mean we can't start putting out some of the information. We don't know what the price of the project is because we don't have the building program, the space, the square footage, all that. So that's why this relies on percentages at the top and then some known numbers next under resources in hand. And then the last section is to be raised, appropriated, acquired, how we meet the rest. And I think probably in large letters at the bottom, we would say more information will come as it is developed. But I feel that for some people, this kind of graphic will let them see that there is a way forward, even if we don't have the specifics yet. And it's important for them to not be demanding specifics when there aren't any.
I think at a prior Board of Trustees meeting, part of the messaging that we discussed, and please anybody correct me if I'm saying this incorrectly, but was getting the message across that I think it was actually prior to the Irving Library visit, was getting the message across that yes, the Board of Trustees is definitely aware that there's some upper limit that nobody wants to go beyond. I'm not phrasing that very well. If that's the case, if you present information like that, and I'm just throwing out ideas, you could add to this, how does this play out if, for example, a building costs 3.5 million? How does it play out if it costs 2.5 million? How does it play out if it costs 4.5 million? So you're using percentages, but then you go one step further and say, if the cost was this, these are the percentages that the town would have to deal with that are not yet funded. And this would be an approximation of how it would affect you as an individual taxpayer.
Well, I just want to say there's a couple of things about that. First of all, there's two pieces of what affects the tax, if not the taxpayer, then the budget, right? And one piece is how we raise the rest, what mechanisms we use. And the other is what the operating costs are. And we don't know either of those yet. And do I wish that we, had in hand or in mind a not to exceed figure for the library? I think, in some ways that would be really easy, but make some things easier, but it's really hard to, we don't, and we can't, and we won't have that. So I would think that anyone who wants to make a spreadsheet that can sort of do some arithmetic in it and figure out what the 32% of various building figures can do that for themselves. But the point of this is just to demonstrate, people know that just because the state is paying 75% of the eligible costs, it doesn't mean they're paying 75% of the costs. And this is the way to demonstrate what we estimate they're actually going to pay. We've had a bunch of conversations, some of them online, some of them in person, some of them via mediated session, where we've heard a bunch of different kinds of concerns. And it seems to me that there's two pieces that are crucial here. And one is transparency, which is when we know something, we say something. And this is what we know to the best of our knowledge. It's estimated, but it's the best of our knowledge right now, whereas we don't know the square footage and we don't know the range of cost per square feet. And if we put out numbers about that, I think before we've had a chance to go through the building program, and we're boxing ourselves in a way that I'm not sure is wise for us. So I've been doing a lot of talking. Let me not for a bit and see what other people want to say. I'm going to stop sharing if that's okay, because I cannot see everybody's faces. Is that all right? Let's stop sharing for now. And I see Michelle.
Kat raised her hand first, but then I had a comment as well.
Okay, so I have Kat and then Michelle, and then I had Susie, I believe. Go ahead, Kat.
I just wanted to point out that when we were developing this, we were thinking of it as simply a first piece. And in fact, what I had labeled it in my sketching was simply what they're offering. So basically, it's just a picture of what the offer looks like from the state. And maybe that could be compared to the offer that they made last time.
Can I respond to that?
Pardon me?
Can I respond to that even though somebody else raised their hand?
Can you hold it and let's just
Sure.
let Michelle get in? Thanks.
Okay, I just wanted to say I'm married to a contractor, and people are always asking, what is it going to cost, when they haven't even talked about the details. It drives them crazy. So this is a very similar thing. It's just a bigger project, but people are always saying, well, what's the square footage going to cost? And you can't know until you figure out what your materials are going to be, what your design is going to be like. It's exactly the same thing. So I totally agree with what Kate and Kat and Susie are saying. I think we start with what we have and let's not go any further, because then we'll be held to something that may not come to fruition.
And the other piece is at the bottom, it says to be raised, appropriate, acquired, how we meet the rest. And there are categories that can add to the money that doesn't impact the taxes. And so because you don't know that, and some of that will be the work of the finance committee to talk about it, and some of it will be what Mary Ann and we generate for Giving Tuesday next fall or this fall. We don't know what the tax impact will be yet. And this is meant to say, these are some of the tools we can use to go forward with. And we don't know the design and the square footage.
Okay, Tim, you're up next. Oh, sorry, Michelle, Tim was next and then you? Okay, thanks.
I think Kat's phrase is perfect, where she says what they are offering. I'd like to suggest that be the top line of this, because that eliminates a lot of in my mind, eliminates some of the hesitancy I had when I first looked at that. If it says what they are offering, then this starts to explain that very well. And I think it does a good job. I would note, though, that on first glance, people in this group were a little bit confused about the 88% and the 12%, the 68 and the 32. I would suggest two things then: adding the title, what are they offering? And in parentheses, a little formula that shows how you came up with those percentages. I think if you do that, I think it's a great job.
So you mean like 88% times
literally
75%, and actually showing our work, as they used to say.
Show your math
class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that too. I am a little concerned with what they're offering. because they're not yet.
Right.
We're applying for what they're offering to us or Otis. I think it's just us and Otis. And I really want people to understand that we do not know that this is for sure at all. You know, I like our chances at 50%. I definitely would, you know, flip a coin on that, but that's kind of where we're at. So
Well,
is there,
if
that we
you,
can, go ahead, Tim.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The gist of Kat's statement is, I think, good. We could change the semantics of it to meet your concerns, but basically Kat's saying this is how it works with the state should this project go on.
Yeah.
And that's the message in this sheet. And I guess my concern is that that's what people walk away with. This is how the state would work with us in these percentages. And then people don't try to use it or don't try to guess anything more. That's the message. That's part one, to be followed by additional messages as information is gathered.
So I agree with the multiple messages and multiple channels piece of this. I think putting it on the website is a good idea. I think putting it on social media is a good idea. I think that before we do either of those, we might actually want to explode it a little bit and do a webinar or something, or make a recording of us explaining it. Because it is a lot to grasp. Like I love it. I got it. It made perfect sense to me. It made so much sense to me that I made a little PowerPoint of it to break it down a little bit further. And if people are okay with that, I'm not suggesting that this is final any more than, you know, this is a draft too, but may I share that so y'all can take a look? Because I thought a couple more steps would be helpful. So can y'all see this?
Yeah.
Not
You
yet.
can see- you cannot see it yet. Okay. It's because I got 8 billion things open. And it doesn't want to let me see it. Lord. Okay. Now can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna actually do it in the slideshow so that I hope you can see a little bit more of the. So the small library pilot project. Okay, and this is basically, this is just everything that Kat and Susie had laid out in one place, just exploded so that people have a little more time to process it, okay?
Mhm.
I'm just gonna keep walking through until someone tells me to stop.
That's good.
Now it is possible, but it got really hard to read if you broke that 32% down with what we already have. So it was easier to do like a spreadsheet kind of and pull it out. And I did the same thing with the land, but I would want to fix that too. Okay, so I think that a combination of these things, multiple messages via multiple channels, is, you know, what you hope for, right? So I would be willing to support whatever y'all want in terms of creating a little video that goes along, like a little talk that goes along with this, if one of y'all wants to do that, or if you'd like one of the trustees to do that. I would be happy to see us, you know, use that infographic with maybe a cover sheet or something that puts the context that Tim was talking about, which I think is important, but doesn't fit nicely on the page. I'd love to see it go out in town announced and on social media and all the rest of it. I'm sure Marianne has a billion ideas about it. If we all agree that this is valuable, and I think it is, just putting my cards on the table. So what do other people think? Are there concerns about that approach?
I see, there's one problem. On Susie and Kat's document, they're calling the site testing eligible costs. And in your slideshow, you called them ineligible costs.
Oh.
And you're muted, Kate, so I didn't hear what you said.
Am I wrong on mine?
So, so I would want to verify it with Lauren. So, you know, in conversations I've had with her, she said it's eligible costs, but I would want to really, I mean, it's such a small amount of money. And in a project like this, you know, money is going to get spent, that, you know, that maybe doesn't get recorded on the final tally sheet at the end. But I'd want to go back and verify all of that with them.
I did send this to Lauren and she liked it. She was a little nervous about pinning anything, but in terms of the 12%, but she said people will hold on to numbers once you give them to them.
Yes.
But she did see the rest of it. And I don't think the 32% is not about ineligible, because 25% of it's the construction part. So 32 can't be identified as ineligible. It's just the town's percent.
That's right. That's right. Because we're responsible for some eligible and all ineligible costs, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm anxious about that too. And I think we might want to consider a range. It's less clear, but it's safer.
If I may, we
Yeah.
had actually started doing that. And then we got the 12% from, I don't know, Lauren maybe. And I think it would be easy to at least to indicate the range and then just continue with and say, okay, we've chosen 12% as the safe number, right?
Yeah.
But to indicate that that range is there.
That's how we would do it at work if we were choosing a figure, especially if it's not a central figure. You know, it's not the median or the mean, we would say the range. So I think it's good communication practice if y'all are okay with it. I definitely agree that using 12% is easier for communicating it rather than trying to do multiple sums, you know. So Marianne, you've got some thoughts. I can tell.
No, what I'm thinking is it's 8:07 p.m. and we have a building program due in a few weeks.
Yep.
And, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
how about this? Could I volunteer, and I promise to be more responsive this time, to work with you all as a trustee representative, Susie and Catherine, and to help you? It seems like you've got a good relationship with Lauren, et cetera. You don't really need us for that, but make sure that we're completely accurate, make sure that, you know, the whole thing's reviewed, and figure out how to get like the PowerPoint if we want to do that. And we just, is that okay?
Kate, we were planning to ask for a trustee representative.
You got it.
That would be perfect.
All right. Well, then, can we thank you both so much, and Rita too, who's not here tonight, for this initiative. Really, really appreciate it.
Okay.
All
And
right.
the information out there is really going to be crucial as soon as
Before you guys go, my question would be, what do you see as the decision process from this point on between now and it goes on the website? Do you guys work together and come back to the Board of Trustees, or do you go off, post it to the website, and that's the next time we see it? What's your expectation here?
Well, we can't work on it outside of a meeting unless we've got a working group to do that. Okay, and we need to move quickly because it's really important that we get what we know to be true out so that people can have a place to start in their thinking. So if you want to join the working group, Tim, and if you're not comfortable so just sort of delegating that, then you can join. I think it's okay for you to join the working group, right? That's
My
not,
question is,
It can't be two trustees.
can't be two trustees. Okay.
my question is just, are you guys going to work together and whatever you decide, you're going to post it to the town and that's taken care of? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, I think that's the proposal.
That's all I wanted to know.
Great.
And we did a lot of that the last time, Tim. In the last campaign, there were a lot of just sort of friends of the library who did a lot of messaging on their own that I was involved in. But I don't have time to be involved in it right now.
I understand. I'm kind of harking back to the concerns that were expressed to me about the last time when the messages got a little bit divergent. And I'm just throwing in that caution that everybody knows what's going on and everybody has the same message. So you don't, by accident, somehow veer off and the left hand and the right hand doesn't know what's going on. It's just a caution.
Yeah.
Probably not needed, but it's a caution.
Well, it's always wise. It's always wise, I think.
I feel like in this case, because we've already previewed it and had a chance to make comments, but anything that they tweak, as far as I'm concerned, is fine. Just get out there because I agree. I think it's important. Given I watched the video of the media session, so there are still questions. There are going to be a lot of questions. So I think as soon as it can be put out there, I think it makes sense. You know, with the changes that were discussed.
Okay. All right, I'm really going to hold us to moving along here. Susie and Catherine, thank you both so much. Great to have you with us.
Thank you for your work.
Stick around if you like. Gets
Thank
better.
you so much, you two.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Thank you.
You're
All right.
very welcome. I'll sign off now. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Over to Mary Ann, I think, for building program.
Oh, so I only sent you one question. Did you all read it?
I have
Yes.
not had a chance to read it.
It was long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sent you that, and then Michelle sent 3 questions. Michelle, the answers to 3 questions today.
I think so, it was 3.
Okay.
Maybe it was just, yeah, it was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you know, this is good. And then I have oh my God, like my analysis of our circulation, I'm working on that. Well, I was working on that before the weekend. And I'll get back to that tomorrow morning. But that's going to be equally as long. And if not longer, although I did think of a way to make it shorter today. So that's where I am now. So, all right. So it's long. If you read it, do you have any feedback? Comments, complaints, additions? Okay, Michelle.
I already told Marianne before the meeting that I thought it looked great, and I had one little tiny question in it, and then I let go of it.
Okay. And you know, you all have been watching this story for various amounts of time. Is it an accurate story that I told in this description of partnerships? And does it answer their question?
I thought it did.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's good. Okay. I think Michelle's came too late to really
Yeah.
talk too much about it. So the other thing is that Google doc that I sent you the other day. and asked people to, so Lauren and Andrea said to do this as a survey. So they want the library staff and trustees to do this self-reflection, which are these questions in this Google Doc that I sent out. And so we could either, do it as a meeting, or everybody could just respond to the doc. And I was going to do it as a Google form, which is a real survey, but it's a real pain in the neck to then transfer that into readable data. So I just did it as a Google Doc. And so far, it seems like Michelle and Brad and Tim have added to it.
I
And
added
then-
to it earlier. I don't know if you
I
got that.
don't remember adding to it.
No, it wasn't Tim, it was Melanie.
Oh,
Somehow I was thinking Melanie and I said Tim. Okay. And it's because it's 8:15 at night. So it would be great if other people could read it over and add to it if they have anything to add. And then is there anybody who would like to then take it and kind of organize it? So that all of the themes are, so that it's a document that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I'm a little confused, Marianne. Are you talking about the self-reflection now or?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. Is everything in this document something you wrote?
The self-reflection.
It was
Yeah.
blank. I was probably the first person that put.
You were
stuff
the
in.
first. I have looked at it and added just a little bit, but not a lot, Marianne, just so you know.
I didn't write any of it. So what I originally posted was just a blank, well, not a blank, it was a couple of pages with questions. And then people have been responding to the questions. Other people other than me.
Other people on the
Other
board of
trustees, just, yeah,
This is
just
the trustees, yeah. So
Yeah.
So
I just want to say something, but I'm not volunteering because I've already committed to doing a bunch of things already. Because I'm retired and I was on the lift neck before. I'm familiar with some of the stuff, so I picked out the pages I felt comfortable with. So I've only done my first one.
I would volunteer to put this into categories. I mean, it's already sort of in categories, but do an outline essentially. I think, y'all, it's crazy, but I think I could probably get that done by the end of the day tomorrow. Does that work?
And we'll just do it with what's been entered into it so far.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Which
All
would
right.
mean that everyone who hasn't given feedback into the self-reflection document or has anything else to add to it would need to get on it. Because I'll probably be working on this like 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
can I ask a question? I'm feeling a little bit lost in terms of how I could most be useful with the building program. And I could use some like guidance on pointing me in the right direction on that. And I know I should understand by now, like what I'm supposed to be helping with.
Not a
But I'm
person in
just-
this room understands any of this.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit confused, but I want to be as helpful as possible. Like I want you to like give me like tell me what to do. Point me to a question, but at the same time, I haven't done this before, so I'm just a little bit, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know.
Right. So I think what would be really awesome is if you could take what Michelle wrote and edit it.
Okay.
Because Michelle has a ton of really great information.
Yep.
But somebody else can take it and
Or what I wrote today.
yeah.
Okay, well, I did
Okay.
have Meryl edit it. I had somebody look at it, so.
Right. I think that it I've seen Melanie edit things before.
Mhm.
And I think Melanie will make it better. I think it's good. All right, so I want us to have a really excellent application with really excellent professional writing and like I think we have to. I think we're competing for this grant. In the last building program, we weren't competing with anybody. For this one, we're competing. So I just think another set of eyes on every document to see if there's a way to make it, better. And I think, so I think that would be good. Then, and then also sort of make sure that all of the information makes sense. And if you have questions, you have questions. And then I don't have to read it.
Okay.
And then I'll read it after you're done with it. Okay. And then I'm going to, so all of the questions I'm going to work on next are really librarian questions. So Molly Moss is going to be the set of eyes that looks over those. And then I'll look through the questions again tomorrow and I'll see if I think there are any that you could answer. And Michelle volunteered for a bunch, so I won't give you any of the ones she did. Because there
I'm
might
also
be
happy to
questions.
just be, an editor. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like it, I mean,
Yes.
whatever would be most useful for
Right,
is the point.
right.
fine.
You want me to
Yeah.
take a stab at some questions too? I'm there
Yeah.
too.
Right. And like, so maybe could you read through all of the questions and see if there's one you think you could take a stab at
Sure.
and then let me know? Okay.
Yep.
That would be good too. Like I don't have one off the top of my head. Right now I'm just thinking about sort of services, and
Marianne,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can I ask you, do we need like a project management document that breaks down all
Yes,
pieces that need to be included, whose point on each one, whose review on each one, and when we expect them to be due? Would that be helpful?
yes.
Yes.
Helpful to you? Do you have time to think about that?
Yeah, but
Like,
not until next week. So
Okay.
because I'm meeting with
okay,
yeah, because not
Yeah.
until next week.
no,
Yeah.
that's a fine answer. That's
Yeah.
a really fine answer.
Yeah. Okay.
I can, but Michelle, we're not allowed to. Darn it. It's frustrating when we're trying to do a project, unless if we form a subgroup, we can, right?
Yeah.
Michelle, could you and I form a subgroup that would break this down and at least get a draft project management document together for Marianne to review?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know who's doing anything beyond what the pages that I volunteered.
But I don't think that matters. I
Okay.
think it's just the slots.
Okay,
And okay.
sure.
All right. Great.
Where does this self-reflection document fit into the whole picture? Is this a subcategory on the building plan?
It's part of the building program. Comes right from that template that Marianne shared with us.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot. I mean, I told the MBLC people, like, this is a lot. And they said, well, all 24 pages aren't going to apply to us. So we probably won't be using all the pages.
It is a lot. So let me just tell you, so because there are only 2 towns, they said it's okay if the building program comes in by the middle of October.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
So that's really good, but we still need to,
Don't tell anybody that.
Hmm?
Don't tell anybody that until,
Yeah, okay.
right, that's a
Right.
secret.
Yes. Well, actually, I think I put that on. Can I share you the answer? So listen, so I'm going to work on that and Michelle's going to send her stuff. So all right, but if you two form a subcommittee, the meetings have to be posted. So,
Stupid with
That's-
having co-chairs that we still have to post it. I mean,
yes,
anyway.
yes. You can't
All
talk,
right.
you can talk about scheduling and agendas,
I know.
but, okay.
Okay, but no
And you know what?
project.
I'm gonna see if I can get more, that comes from Becky. I'm gonna see if I can really get more information about that. Anyway, okay. So that's one thing. So in that mediated session the other night, Les Lachonic asked some questions. And so has everybody watched the recording of the mediated sessions?
No, because I was in it.
Yes.
Other than, yes, okay.
I have not. I've had doctor visits and preparing, doing a little remodeling before company comes. So I've just been swamped. So I have not viewed it.
All righty. So,
It's the
so
kind of thing
let's-
you can listen to, Tim. You don't have to like watch it, but you can listen to it while you're doing something else. It's long.
Go ahead, Marianne.
okay. So Les Lachonic asked some questions that I said I would answer and that we would then disseminate to the rest of the town. So then I had him email me his questions and I worked on a response. It's 2 pages. And I sent it to Penny Jakes to format it because I thought it would be good because she's part of the team, but separate enough from the team so that, you know, so if she understood it, then that would be good. And then and then she's good at formatting things. So she sent it back to me and I haven't looked at it yet. But I'd like for you all to look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and share it. And let me see. It is this one. Let's see what happens. All right, so here it is. And then I'm going to move all of you folks over this way. So, you know, so then I don't think we need to include Les's name. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Big part, yeah.
So I'll put it here and then you can read it. Okay. So do you see where it says, we said the following with the period? Is that period okay? Should it be some other piece of punctuation?
Colon.
Where is it?
Colon and
Colon,
all right,
Definitely.
all
a
right, and the
call.
colon is the 2 dots. Okay, so I'll change that. Okay,
Marianne, up a little higher, there was a word that's not correct.
okay, which one?
It said, it should say what that vote meant. And it says what they vote meant.
Oh,
Okay, and where is that?
A little higher up than you.
it was his question, right?
Oh, there, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all righty.
just-
Okay, well, I'll fix that. Okay, I'll fix that. All right. Okay. Okay, so then I think everybody read that far. So, all righty. So then this I took right out of that information we distributed before town meeting that Kate and Penny and I worked on. And then I added this part about, you know, just having concerns about the pandemic and that we wouldn't be able to have a special town meeting in the fall. So we really thought through many different factors when we decided to put that on there. Here's Les's second question.
You just want to put this is minor, but a period after architect.
I can see that. Yep. Okay. Okay.
That period goes inside the quotation marks, by the way, not outside.
So, and then we also need a quotation at the beginning of the building program. Um, so
Is
much
that
for
from the
Penny.
same source?
It is, so we could just take out that quotation after architect and put the period and then,
Yeah,
it-
and
yeah,
if that case,
okay.
if that's the case, you don't need any quotation marks. It's a block quote.
Okay,
Okay. Get
so
rid of
on
all.
both of them or the whole thing?
Yep, on the whole thing, there's no quotation
Okay.
marks. It's a
Okay,
block quote.
okay. All right. And this is good. I really, I sent it to Penny and she said to use the word input instead of feedback. I really agree with that. And this part, the library director and trustees, that's me. Okay. Okay.
I think the last sentence is redundant. Sometimes the building program, you've said exactly that above.
Okay. All right. I'll take it out. All right.
Pet peeve about consensus. But moving
All
on.
right.
No, it's his question. We got to answer it, but I actually really reject, we're not required to have consensus on this.
Right. Right. Well, that's his question. And the answer is there's no town meeting. There are no town meeting votes. Many opportunities for input.
Yep.
Okay, and so then Penny suggests adding, we intend to, and I've been thinking about this. Let's see, alrighty. I think that's a fine sentence. We intend to create a building program that meets our town's needs, that meets our town's needs and is sensitive to express financial concerns. Yep. I'm
I
fine
would
with
cut
that.
expressed. I would cut expressed. We need to be sensitive to financial concerns, period.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah. I think we need to give people at least a cost estimate. And I think we ought to consider a not to exceed figure at town meeting.
Oh, I absolutely agree with the not to exceed figure. The other thing is so while we can't predict the operating cost of the building, what we can do is do a study of the operating costs of other libraries in towns our size that are new libraries. So Pelham, Leverett, Buckland, and
Monterey, is it?
yeah, Monterey is quite a bit smaller, but
Okay.
but we can do that. So and let's see.
Can I say something about this, which is maybe not a public message yet, but if the operating costs are less than $25,000 a year, we're coming out ahead in the budget.
If the increase to the operating cost, yeah,
Yeah, if it's less than 25,000, we're coming out ahead. It's budget neutral.
right. I think, I don't see how the operating cost would, like, right off the bat, would be 25,000 more than what we have now.
I don't either.
You know,
But our library is cheap to run. Becky warned me about this very carefully. So, I think what we should say is a few things here. I think we should say, so there's two things. There's the building cost and there's the operating cost. And I think
all right,
we
I'm
should
gonna
say,
stop sharing. Okay,
I think we should say that we are planning to provide, I'm going to stick with this message, a robust cost estimate based on recent building figures from the MBLC, and that we hope to have a not to exceed figure for the warrant article, or whatever the language needs to be.
all right. So let's start at the beginning. We are planning to provide a robust cost estimate based on, what did you
Our
say, Kate?
building program
Our building program and,
the range of costs from recent projects.
cost per square foot or just
Yeah.
cost? Okay,
Cost per square foot that the MBLC has, they promised that they were going to help us with that.
right,
So they've already committed to that.
okay. All righty. We are planning to provide a robust cost estimate based on our building program and the range of costs per square foot from recent projects. Okay, now repeat the part about the,
was-
not to exceed.
So what
We-
Kate said, oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Sorry, I
The
wrote it
verb
down.
here, I don't know whether we say we hope.
I can't hear anyone. Did I do something?
I think we lost Kate.
No one's
No, I think-
speaking.
What she had said was that we hope to have a not to exceed figure for the warrant article. But I'm sure
Hope
that,
to have a,
but I think she was about to say that she wasn't sure about the hope part,
all right,
or maybe we
All right.
intend, or we plan to.
all right.
Or
Right.
we will attempt, because if you sound too definite and we can't get what we're hoping for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That might
Right.
fall on our face.
How about this? We plan to ask townspeople to approve a not to exceed figure at town meeting. All right, how about, let's see. Okay. We are planning to provide a robust cost estimate based on our building program and the range of costs per square foot from recent projects. If offered the grant, we plan to ask townspeople to approve a not to exceed figure at town meeting.
That sounds fine.
Okay,
Yeah, we lost Kate.
yeah, all right, well, she'll come back if she can. So I just felt like, so these questions came out of the mediated session. And I wanted to be able to get the answers back out to people, quickly. So I don't see that she's trying to get in.
Sorry, I'm back. I got booted off, but I'm back. I apologize.
Okay, alrighty. So let me read you what I found, what I wrote down, Kate, okay? We are planning to provide a robust cost estimate based on our building program and the range of costs per square foot from recent projects. If offered the grant, we plan to ask townspeople to approve a not to exceed figure at town meeting.
I think that's good. I would just put the MBLC on the hook. I would just
Okay.
I would clearly say the MBLC has promised us a range of per square foot costs from recent projects. Or something like that.
I think that's a good point.
All right, so I'm gonna put, and the range of costs per square foot from recent projects provided by the MBLC,
Mhm.
okay? All
Or
right,
which the MBLC has committed to provide.
all right.
They're getting beat up pretty bad.
Who's getting beat up pretty bad?
The MBLC in certain places are getting beat up pretty bad. People need to understand that they're not trying to build a palace here.
Yeah.
When they have
What do
committed.
you mean they're getting beat up by who? What do you mean?
Yeah, just social media nonsense. It's not worth worrying about.
Oh, okay.
But I think they could use some cover from townspeople, and they have committed to get us this. And that's what people want, so.
Right.
All righty, so the rest, I can go back and do the rest of the edits, and then I'm gonna post this on the small library webpage that I've created, and I'm gonna send it to Les, and I'm gonna send it in a town announce, and I'm gonna post it on Nextdoor Shutesbury. And I haven't posted the date of the second mediated session on, like, in a town announce, because the town announce system is broken. So,
Oh, it is? Oh.
so the town announce email is broken. And so sometimes I spend a half a day trying to make a broken thing work. But anyway, but I feel like this is good. And like the comment that he included in there about he's spoken to people who say they don't know what they were voting on. So then I'll just say to him privately, please have them get in touch with me, because I worked really hard to get people to town meeting who knew exactly what they were voting on. And I
Yeah.
think, I wasn't alone. So, I think we really, we got that document out there and stood up in front of town meeting and answered people's questions. So,
Yep, I agree.
okay.
Marianne, can I ask you a couple really quick questions? How is the building committee connected to this, if at all?
You mean the town building committee?
Yep.
So the town building committee, we could ask Becky what their charge is. So Bob Groves is on the town building committee, and he is also on the finance committee. So he has been invited to participate. He was at that meeting at town hall. The one with the MBLC and the finance committee. So Bob Groves was there. The building committee, we could ask Becky what their charge is, but I don't see how their charge is related to new construction.
When
They maintain town buildings, or they're supposed to maintain town buildings.
that was my recollection when Dale Hool was a trustee. That's what I remember him sharing, that was what their responsibility was.
Right. Oh, good. Here's Brad.
I just let him in, Marianne. That's what I
Okay.
thought too, but I wanted to confirm that. Also, they have no web presence that I can see, the building committee.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
And
Brad.
then, so Bob Groves is on the building committee. And he's also on the finance committee. He was at that meeting with the MBLC. And then he was invited, he was certainly invited to come to the athletic club, and he was invited to come on the Irving Library tour. And he, didn't choose.
People make their
Bob?
choices. but-
We're talking
yeah,
about Bob?
Bob Groves. Mhm.
Okay.
But other FinCom members were is there a FinCom member on your ad hoc building program committee, Marianne?
No,
Okay,
no.
thank you.
I don't have an ad hoc building program committee. The Board of Library Commissioners just expects me to write the building program and
Okay.
to, to solicit feedback and then to,
Okay.
and the trustees are expected to feedback and then whatever volunteers
Okay.
I use. But
Right.
remember, finance
Right.
committee members were at that meeting. They
Yep.
were invited to that meeting. And they were invited on the Irving Library tour, and 4 finance committees came to the Irving Library tour.
Okay, thank
So.
you. All right, Miriam, what else do you need?
I don't need anything else right now. If for people to give feedback on that Google form by tomorrow at noon time so that Kate can make it organized so that I can read it and then pull, and then reference it in other parts of the building program.
Yeah, and Marianne, can I ask you just one question about that? Or you know what, I can take it offline and ask you by email.
Okay.
Just, it would be helpful to know like what length you want, what length you're aiming for that part of it.
So I would say, so there were 2 pages when it was blank, so 4 pages.
Okay, 4 pages
Okay.
total. And
Yeah.
all right, then I'll just, please put your feedback into the Google Doc if you haven't. If you don't have the link and need it re-upped, please give me a shout and I'll make sure that it is. And if you could get it done by 3 o'clock tomorrow, I'm not gonna start working on it till 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Did you send the link on as an email?
I did. I can send it again.
Okay,
That'd be
Yeah,
great,
sure.
Marianne.
I'm sure I can find it. I just wanted to know
Okay.
where to look.
Yeah, I'll send it again to everybody right after this. Okay.
And we're talking about the self-reflection document. Which
Yeah.
sounds like
Brad
already-
did-
which he's
I
already
did
looked
see
at.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he just came in, so he might not know what we're talking about.
Okay, I have a question, which is we have a little more time than we thought for the building program. It is a nuisance, however, for us not to be able to do any work in between meetings. And I wondered whether, I know we're meeting a lot, but I wondered whether we wanted to post a meeting for next week, the 20th, and we can decide whether we want to have it or cancel it. But if we post it now, we have the option. Can I get a sense of the body on whether people are available and think that that's a good idea to have a meeting at our regular time for this would be next week, the 20th. Go ahead, Melanie.
I really think that we should be at least trying to meet weekly until mid-October.
I
This is
totally
just so
agree.
important.
Having been on LiftNAC, near the end, we were meeting every week, so I totally agree.
Okay. In that case, Marianne, do you need help or do you need one of us? You're very busy to take on asking Grace to post or?
No, it's an online form. We do
Okay.
it ourselves. I'll do it. I'm going to post, the 27th is already posted. I'm going to post the 20th right now. And then that's good because I should have, because Michelle's thing that she sent us tonight, Melanie should have edited by then and we could say, good, that page is good to go. Then Brad has volunteered to sort of take each section and plunk them down into the master document and to keep it all formatted nicely. So he's volunteered to do that. So I'm going to send him the partnership page. Well, you already have it. That's good to go, Brad. And then I hope to have sort of a bunch of the library sections done by next week. Yep, Michelle.
I just want to make sure I go back and format mine like yours. I didn't have a space and a half between each line. And do you know what font you were using? Can you tell? Or even what kind of font so we match?
Michelle,
Yeah.
I was formatting stuff for Marianne. Do you
Okay.
just want to send it to me?
Okay. Well, and Melanie's gonna edit it first, and so then you'll get it after she's done
I
with that.
don't think what format you use matters.
Okay, all right. I just thought I'd save time if I was doing the same thing, that's all.
All right.
So
And then,
a
sorry,
comment
Brad,
on dates.
ahead.
I think it's great to set up a weekly meeting. I have occasional conflicts. Tonight's was a rare one. This happened once a year. But I have to be in New Salem Select Board, and unfortunately they meet on Mondays. And I'll do what I can. Usually they're earlier. Usually I can finish them and get to you.
Yeah, no worries, Brad. It's great to have you here. And, Melanie takes perfect notes. So you'll be fully apprised of the conversation once we get the minutes out.
I don't know
Um,
about that. This was a rough one.
This was a tough one.
This was tough.
Yeah,
There was a lot of details, so
there
you'll,
was.
I don't, yeah. When you read them, you might be like, missed some things.
Okay, so a couple of other notes then. While we're setting up meetings, do we want to go ahead and get ourselves one on the books for the 4th of October also? I say yes. I see a lot of nods. If you can't make it, you can't make it. Okay, but if you can, it's a good opportunity for us to get work done together.
The 4th, did you say?
Yeah, the 4th. So just every Monday between now and then we have the Indigenous Peoples' Day is on the 11th. Yes, the 11th. I am willing to meet on that day. Okay, so we're going to be every Monday. It's going to be easy to remember.
Okay,
Every
that's good.
Monday.
Can I remind everybody about the open house tomorrow? So do you remember last week I sent out an email asking trustees to join me in an open house at 6 o'clock at the library tomorrow? And it may be that nobody comes, and it may be that 10 people come. I don't think it's going to be 30 people or anything like that. But I'm sure that one of the questions in the building program is how do we arrive at the information we gathered? So this is a way to gather information and also to, I just think our library is incredibly small, and some people might need to be reminded of that. So some of you said you could join me.
Yeah,
And
I can't,
yeah, no,
Marianne.
that's
If I
okay.
do this
Yeah.
work, I can't do both.
Right. And yes, and that's fine. You do that, but some of you said you could join me, and as long as so Melanie's going to be there and Brad's going to be there. Okay.
Are you still doing it Thursday?
No, we're just doing the one.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I had said I couldn't come, but now I can. So
You can. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. So that's fine. And then Susie's going to be there, and then, I'm going to make, box mix brownies, and I bought some lemonade. And I was thinking, oh my God, I told people lemonade. How am I going to make that? And then I remembered, oh, they have it already made at the grocery store. Yes. Okay. Yes, Brad.
This is for Kate. So we're
Okay.
going to meet every Monday until, I didn't hear that, the 25th of October?
I think we can stop on the 11th. The building program is due at the end of that week. If we need an extraordinary session after the 11th, we'll figure that out. But y'all, I am out of here on the 15th. I'm going to be out of the country, actually, for the last 2 weeks of October. So I really hope that we can wrap up and get everything done in time. So it is at the 15th. You said mid-October, but is it the 15th?
They said mid-October. Our goal is the 11th. Okay. Let's be really dotting
Tight.
the I's and crossing the T's and putting in some
You're here.
punctuation.
Here.
And never be shy about telling me about punctuation, and I'm not going to remember any of it. Okay. So I have no idea where a comma goes. I make it up every single time. You can explain it all to me. I won't remember it tomorrow.
I can't
Okay.
help you there.
Yeah.
We'll just fix it. We all have strengths. Brad, did you have another question before we wrap
Just
up?
on the document, is there any problem with open meeting rules for me to send out what I've had to all of us? Or do I have to wait for meetings?
So once we review it at a meeting and the pieces are in, then it's fine.
Okay,
Okay,
so I'll just wait for meetings.
okay,
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 all right.
all right. So just capturing a couple of next steps. Michelle is going to send to Melanie her piece for edits. Okay, final edits. And then it's going to go to Brad, right?
Well,
Okay.
after we talk about it at the meeting, because we didn't talk about it tonight.
Okay.
All you need to do is take a quick look at it. It's just mostly history and population demographics. So.
Okay. And then I am going to form a communications subgroup with Susie and Kat to think about, do we want a video that accompanies that, like a PowerPoint, sort of like what I did, acknowledging that we have some important things to edit and fix. And Miriam, one of your next steps was to double check on the eligibility of the site testing as an eligible, and I think you're right, it's an eligible cost, but let's be sure. And then just taking a really good eagle eye at the context for whatever they're, whatever we're going to send out and all of that stuff, making sure that it goes out well and looks good. And then I'm going to edit the, try to pull our self-reflections into at least, I might need some help with this. I think I can do the outline tomorrow.
Yeah.
If there's another good fast writer who might be able to do some writing, turning it from, organized bullet points into eloquent prose. I'm not sure I'm going to have time for that. So is there anybody else who could help with that?
Would it need to be done by tomorrow?
No. Outline should be done so that we can keep moving on it. But
I can help with that.
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What would be, I mean, what would be the deadline? Do we have could you give a deadline?
It'd be great if it could be done by our next meeting on Monday. Is that possible?
I have a lot of coffee in the house.
And the same thing, Melanie, with the piece that I sent you tonight. I already found one little typo I have to fix, but and that way, that'll be something we can be done with.
Right. And
So
then
I'll be working
Brad
on
can
other
put them
stuff,
in the
so.
document.
Yeah,
So,
and I'll be working
okay.
on other stuff for next time.
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
All right.
Did I miss any next steps?
No,
Now, my only question, Kate, is like realistically, an hour isn't a lot when we have so much to talk about.
Yeah, I would make them
There's-
all an hour and a half. If we
Yeah,
wrap
and-
early, great.
That was my feeling.
Yep. So
Okay.
that means you're posting from 7:30 to 9. And I promise you I'll try to be tight. Well, right, Michelle, we're going to be try to be tight.
Right.
And,
Yeah, so people can really make the effort to read whatever gets sent to you ahead of time. I know it's hard.
Yep.
I tend to read while I'm eating. To accomplish two things at once, so stuff like that.
I generally have to print it out because I have such a hard time,
I do better too, and I edit better if I have a hard copy. I totally agree. Yeah,
paper.
I agree.
all right.
All right, good.
Anything else before we wrap up tonight, Marianne?
Mary
Melanie?
I have one other thing, which is that I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm creating this mythology around Marianne in the library. In my, I started grad school for library science.
Oh, cool!
Yeah,
Congratulations!
and I'm
That's so
creating this
exciting.
mythology in my classes so that people will try to, like I talked to one of my professors who was like, oh, you should do this project that will benefit the library, this library, right? And so we're like, I'm just trying to whip everybody, and everybody's kind of enchanted with the library and the whole like the fight, the fight to like get the new library, and that you like, you're like, we're talking about library of things, and we've got the kayaks, and people are just like, they're loving it.
That's great.
They're
That's
just
great.
loving it.
That's
Yeah, so
good.
hopefully we'll
That's
be able to
good.
get some good stuff for you that's usable.
That'd be great.
So yeah, that's the goal.
Good.
Thank you,
So,
Melanie.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That's awesome. Savannah, did you have something too?
No, Marianne, I just wanted to say I'm happy to make the brownies for tomorrow.
Really? That would be great. That would be great. But do you have a box mix, or do you want me to bring you one?
No, neither one. I'm fine.
Okay. All righty, good. All right, even better. Okay.
I go from scratch.
Okay, that's good. I
All
just,
right.
yeah, I did get a box of saltwater taffy, that I'm gonna put out too, so,
Oh, good.
cause I I went to the beach, so, and I'm gonna try and go
Good
next
for
week.
you.
So,
Good for you.
Nice.
All right. I wanted to just say thank you all so much. I think we got an awful lot of work done tonight. I appreciate your willingness to keep meeting, keep working, keep fighting, and keep winning. Here we go.
Hey,
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Night.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Good night.